You ever wake up from a nightmare and just lay there like your body is awake, but your brain is still back in that dream? That heavy, dark feeling that just sticks. What if I told you there are a treasure Japanese tattoo specifically designed for that? Not a charm, not a symbol, an actual creature tattooed on your skin that devours your nightmare. But here's where it gets wild. If it doesn't get enough nightmare, it starts eating something else. What exactly? I will tell you later. One more thing, you've actually seen this creature before. You just didn't know what it was. I've been tattooing people for 16 years, heard every kind of story you can imagine. But whenever someone walks in and say, "Yo, is there a tattoo that deals with nightmares?" There's one answer. Stick around. By the end of this, you're gonna have a moment where you're like, wait, was he talking about me this whole time? Konnichiwa, Yoshi desu. Okay, so this is Baku. What does Baku actually look like? Try to picture it in your head real quick. Elephant trunk and tusks, tiger paw and claw, bear body, ox tail, rhinoceros eyes, all of that, one body. But wait, doesn't something already seem off? Elephants. Are there elephants in Japan? Nope. Japan's an island nation. To people in Edo period, elephants were basically like a creature you only heard about in legends. Most of them have never actually seen one. And yet, Baku has an elephant trunk and tusk on top of that. You know what tusks, right? Those massive bones that jut out from both sides of an elephant's mouth. So imagine you're in Edo period Japan and you see this thing for the first time. Bear-shaped body, then suddenly a long trunk sticks out with tusk on it. Like imagine showing an American a lion with a kangaroo pouch. That's how weird this looks. So why does it look like this? Okay, so this is literally God's IKEA symbol gone wrong. It's like a finished building of furniture and their leftover screws too good to throw away. So you just jam them together like a chimera. That's literally the legend. God made every animals had leftover parts, leftover trunk, leftover clothes, leftover body, and that become Baku, the ultimate upcycling. But here's the thing, it's not random at all. Every single part has a reason. The trunk and tusk, that's how it literally sucks nightmares out and crushes them. Elephants is also a symbol of wisdom and memory. Tiger paws before it even eats the bad energy. It pins it down first. Bear body depends. Nothing shakes it. Rhino eyes. It sees through the dark, knows exactly what's ever. Oxtails, patience, it never gives up. Made from scraps, but it's got everything a guardian needs. Defense, offense, insight, endurance. You think that's a coincidence? I don't. Okay, so here's something. Everyone thinks Baku is Japanese, right? I did the same thing first. No, the roots are ancient China. There's this ancient China text, Shanghai Jing, basically like a catalog of every weird and mystical thing that exists in the world. And in there's a creature called the mole. What is this mole eat? Dreams? No. Metals, ions, copper, tries up eat ions. It wasn't even a dream eater originally. And here's another wild thing. The actual real-life animal this was based on is the Malayan tapir. White body, dark leg, long snout. Ancient Chinese people thought it looks like a wizard. It had to be some kind of a scared creature. Then around the 14th, 15th century, it crosses over to Japan, and the Japanese start interpreting it their own way. This thing is bad stuff? So what's the worst thing out there? Nightmare. By the end of Edo period, Baku is fully locked in as a nightmare eater. But wait, you think Baku is the only iron-eating creature out there? There is a Korean mythology creatures called 불가사리. You know what the name means? The one that cannot be killed. And yeah, its earth eats irons, but it's completely different from Baku. Baku eats nightmares, protects you. It's a guardian. 불가사리 starts by eating one needle, grows every time it eats more matter, and eventually becomes an unstoppable monster that devours every piece of iron in the entire country. Whole armies can kill it for real. So East Asia has two iron-eating creatures. One protects you, one swallows the world. You know what the difference is? Intent. Whether it is for someone or just because it's hungry. Coming back to that origin story. Made from God's leftover parts, lions, dragons, built from perfect material, but this thing, made from scraps, ended up becomes the most powerful guardian ever. That's honestly why I think Baku has been loved in Irajimi for so long. Back in the other period, people literally believed that if you wrote Baku's name under your pillow, you wouldn't have nightmares. And there's actual perfect comparison for American people here. You know what a dream catcher is? That thing you hang above your bed that's supposed to catch bad dreams and let the good one through. Baku does the same job, but here's the key difference. A dream catcher is just wood and strings. It hangs there, it's passive. Baku is alive, it actively hunts, aggressive. So honestly, Baku basically a bio dreamcatcher, organic version, the upgrade. Dreamcatcher a filter, Baku's a hunter. And this concept is literally still alive in modern games. You ever played Animal Crossing? There's a character called Luna who takes you to the dream world when you fall asleep. Luna's Japanese name is Yumemi, which literally means one who sees dream. Nintendo didn't just randomly pick that name. And what does Luna look like? A tapir, long snout, chubby body. That's literally the mold the original animal Baku was based on. The same rule too, you fall asleep in your bed, Luna shows up and takes you to the dream world. Just like a Baku, watching over you from your pillow. But here's the funniest part, Luna herself apparently has nightmares all the time. The nightmare eaters get nightmares. That's like a dentist with cavities. Nintendo clearly did their homework on this one. Same goes for Pokemon. You know Hypno, the one with the pendulum, and Muna, that pink dream eating one. Look at them, long snout, chubby body. That's the mold, that's Baku. Well, we've known Baku since we were kids. We just didn't know its name. So how did Baku end up on people's skin? The people getting Irajimi in the other period, firefighters, craftsmen, dock workers, the working class of Edo, not nobles, not samurais. People who worked love, lived love. So what do you think they saw in Baku? A guardian made from scraps. It wasn't born perfect either, but I protect my people. That's feeling made it on their skin. Okay, so where do you think it gets placed in Irajimi? The most traditional placement is the back. Any idea why? Think about it. Your bag is the one place you literally cannot see. The moment you fall asleep, when you're most vulnerable, Baku is right there, watching over you from a place you can't see without you even knowing. That's why it goes on the back. Second placement is the chest. There means protecting your heart, your mind. Because nightmares are ultimately emotions, right? Fear, regret, anxiety, all of it comes from the chest. And for the background, clouds or wind bars. Baku is a creature of dreams and night. It drifts, clouds give it that dreams like fear. In Irajimi, the background isn't a decoration. It is saying where that creature lives. Okay, have you ever noticed Baku Erasmi always have flower with it just because it look nice, colorful? No, that's not it. I explained already flower. In Erasmi, flowers define the character of the motif. The flower most often pairs with the Baku is the peony, botan. In the West, peonies are just pretty flowers, but Erasmi totally different. There's a classic Erasmi combination, Karajishi and botan. Karajishi is basically a mythical lion, symbol of raw, unstoppable power. But why put a flower next to the beast? Because true strength means knowing how to control the power. Baku and peony is the same idea, a fierce guardian that devours nightmares, next to the shining peony. What it's saying is, I'm strong, but my strength is used with grace. It's not just visually stunning, it's language for expressing what mature strengths look like. Okay, remember what I say at the very beginning? Baku is nightmares, but if it doesn't get enough, Baku is something else. Let me explain that now. There's an actual warning in the legend. If you call on Baku and there aren't enough nightmares at night, the hungry Baku starts eating other things. What does it eat? Hope, ambition, desire, everything that makes you want to be alive, gone. Doesn't that low-key terrify you? That part gets me every time. Because the Baku, nightmare, and hope taste the same. They are both just emotions. This is what Eastern philosophy called Chuyo balance. Not going too far in any direction. Even with the guardian, you can't just fully depend on it. So thug up on your nightmares before you get the tattoo. Don't let it show up hungry. But for real though, a Baku tattoo isn't a charm. It's a statement. The bad thing inside me, I'm letting Baku devour them. You are not handing everything over to Baku. You're fighting alongside it. When people ask what a Baku tattoo means, some say protections and resilience. But here's how I see it. Protection is blocking, resilience is enduring. Baku is neither. It devours, completely swallowing the bad stuff inside you. That's what makes Baku different from every other protection motif. So remember at the beginning, I say the people who got Baku tattoos all had something in common. You wanna know what it was? They all had something there wanted devoured, not erased, devoured. A guardian made from scarabs, swallowing all the scarab memories. That's Baku. Started as an iron-eating beast in ancient China, built from that didn't belong anywhere, carrying the trunks and tusks of an animal Japan had never seen. But it became the most powerful guardian of all. If a dreamcatcher, a filter, Baku is a raving hunter tattooed onto your skin. Yo, real talk. Why are you watching this video? Just checking out tattoos? Or there's actually something you want to devour? Drop it in the comments. What do you want to feed to Baku? If you want to go too deeper into Erasmi, subscribe and hit the bell. See you in the next one. お疲れ様でした。